Hey, it's Jen Vax with YourColorStyle.com, and in this video, I'm going to share with you a little bit of a color theory lesson to help you find your best shade of orange. And yes, this will be applicable to both warm and cool undertones. And it's really easy to choose a color, like orange, that's too warm for you if you have cool undertones. So I'm going to share with you some color theories so that you understand where the line is drawn so that you can wear colors that are flattering for you and not colors that are just going to feel off. So let's dive into some color theory. This is our color wheel, and this is a tool we are going to use to explain why and how you can choose your best shade of orange. So on the right side of this color wheel are our warm colors. That means colors that are at least 50% mixed with yellow. So red is 50% yellow, and so is green. Green and cyan, yellow and cyan even mix, and yellow and magenta make red. So right there is your center point of the color wheel. And so all the colors on the right side, in theory, should flatter someone with warm undertones. Now there's lots of rules that can be broken here, so I'm just giving you some general guidance on how to read this color wheel. All right. And colors on the left are all flattering on someone with cool undertones because they are dominantly cool. Now that's not exclusive to warm or cool undertones. Again, just helping you understand how to use this color wheel as a tool. All right, but we're not worried about all these colors. We're only worried about what we might consider to be orange. So before we dive into that, there's one more thing you need to understand. Between true red and true yellow, these colors in between are all dominantly made with yellow, meaning more than 50% of yellow. In that case, these colors pretty much are only flattering on someone with warm undertones. So you can see that this makes up most of the oranges, and we will definitely get into that. But I'm going to show you how you can sort of stretch the definition of this orange so that you can find your best orange. And that's really important here. We can always say someone looks good in blue, but really what we're saying is that specific blue is your best blue. So we're going to help you find your best orange in this video. Okay. So let me just break this down a little bit. We in Your Color Style use the modern color wheel. So instead of red, yellow, blue, like you've learned in elementary or primary school, we use magenta, yellow, and cyan. Now for this explanation, we're only going to be focusing on magenta and yellow. And when you use those three colors, you can mix any color, which is not necessarily true for red, yellow, blue. You can't mix and get a magenta. All right. So when we evenly mix magenta and yellow, you get a true balanced red. And then if you were to mix red and yellow, you would get a balanced true orange. It's almost, it's just, that's the color. Okay. So red and yellow still make orange. And I always kind of throw this in here to explain things because it'll make a little bit more sense later. So we only are concerned right now with this range of color because, again, we're talking about orange. So now we spread that out a bit and bring in some more tertiary colors. So in between red and orange, we have a pumpkin color, and in between orange and yellow, we start to have a nice golden marigold color. And if we stretch that out even more, we have some like a tomato red, a golden yellow, in between red and yellow. And this range here is kind of the same thing that I had actually shared with you here. All right, so that's the full range of colors that can make up orange. Now, true red, is that orange? No. And is true yellow orange? No. But if you saw golden yellow on its own not next to anything else for comparison, you might actually call it an orange. We play a lot of board games at home, and there's always this color that looks like a marigold or a golden yellow. I always say it's yellow, and somebody else might say, I'll take the orange. So it's really just how you kind of perceive it, but you can see that on its own, it can still be considered an orange. So we're going to take away the true red and really anything that we don't always call orange. And we're going to shrink this up a little bit. So we have tomato red and just a little bit past orange, so there's another color in between orange and marigold that there's lots of in between colors. So between tomato red now and firebush, you have this nice nice range, subtle range from a really, really red orange to a really yellow orange. And I would say that in many cases, especially when you see the color on its own, you might actually refer to it as orange. But as you can see, there's quite a range of orange. Now, the good news is that if you have warm undertones, these colors within reason are all going to be flattering on you. Where you might disagree is if it feels too bright for you. And that can be the case. And if so, you could always lighten it up a little bit. So if you found, let's say you found a color that looks like turmeric and you like it, but it feels too strong for you. Maybe it's your personality, or maybe it's just you have a lot of soft tones. You can find that color in a fabric that naturally softens it, that has a little bit of a weave in it that softens that color naturally. Or you can keep your eye out for a color that is slightly lighter or slightly darker. And orange, when you add black to it, quickly becomes a warm brown. So if you're not into wearing browns, or you have gray hair, that might not be your favorite color to wear. But you can definitely find a softer version of any of these bright colors, especially if you just go a tiny bit lighter. Okay, now, right now, as I'm recording this video in 2025, orange is absolutely having a moment. It is all over the retail stores, and it does range anywhere from like about right here all the way over to this pumpkin. You can find it. But even so, even these tomato reds can be considered an orange. Now, one of the other things to keep in mind here as you're thinking about your orange, I've only mentioned warm undertones at this point, so keep that in mind. And if you are someone that's light to medium, this range of colors, especially, and if you're medium, really just these top two rows will be ideal. If you are medium to dark in tones, these lighter colors might feel a little wishy-washy and wash you out. So you might want to stay closer to the colors that have a little bit more presence, a little bit more saturation. And then as we go darker, someone that has light tones overall, these mustardy and browny colors may not always feel great, so keep that in mind. But if you are medium to deep in tones, absolutely, these will look really pretty on you. This is all true for warm undertones. Right now, these colors, in my opinion, are too warm for someone with cool undertones. Okay, so then what is your best orange? Your best orange is really to get as close as possible to red on the color wheel. Okay, so not true red, but as you may have recalled when I introduced you to the color wheel, all the colors on the left-hand side, and red straddles both, are great for cool undertones. And on the right, and especially in this area, not so much. So you want an orange that is as close as possible to red. Okay, so maybe it's not a perfect red, but maybe it's like right in between these two colors that I'm not really showing you here. But you want as close as possible to the line so that you're not dipping in too far into the warmer colors. Okay, so then we come over here. Now, if you go too far to the left, you start to get to a cool red and you start to get into those pinks. That's not orange. Okay, but when you add white to red, you actually get a really pretty pink, but it's kind of a warm pink. It feels a bit warm. And if you just add a touch of white to that true red, you get what we call in our color palettes a perfect coral. This color right here is really beautiful on everyone and also on those that have cool undertones. Now, I will say one thing. If you are someone with cool undertones that tans and warms, the skin warms up a bit in the summer, you'll have a little bit more flexibility of tipping a tiny bit past this line. And this color right here will look fantastic. If you are someone that has cool undertones but is dominantly cool, this color still will be pretty, but beware, it actually still might feel a little too orangey on you, even though it's a balanced color from cool to warm. In that case, orange may not be your friend, but this is the closest you can get to an orange that especially if you don't tan, that's really going to look pretty great. And if you do tan, you can tip a little bit more. Just a little bit more into the warm side. But I would not go all the way to tomato red. I would go to maybe right here. No, excuse me. I don't even think I'm showing it right now to you. Now, it's not even here. It would have to be right here in between true red and that tomato red, right somewhere in here, to be as close as possible to red without being too orange. So I know it might seem like a lot, but I hope that the color theory helps you understand the reasons why orange doesn't always suit someone with cool undertones and what you can stretch yourself in your palette so that you can participate in that orange trend. Okay, now this is only about colors closest to the face. If you are wearing accessories, fun bag, fun shoes, pants that are away from the face, you can absolutely wear orange, any orange you want. Okay, and orange, because it's kind of it's located kind of generally in this upper right quadrant, it will pair beautifully with the colors over here in the lower left quadrant. And guess what? Those are all cool colors. So if you have cool undertones, you can wear a cool color and then wear some really fun orange pants, skirt, a pattern. All will be really, really fun to wear. So if a solid color is too much, look for a pattern, and or look for something that's a little darker or lighter. So that is how you can kind of map out your best orange. And honestly, if you are a customer of your color style and you know your color type, your color fan is honestly your best friend in this case, because you can take that and you can match the color in the store to an orange that's truly flattering for you. And can kind of reduce that confusion and overwhelm when you're going shopping. So I hope that helps you. Please comment if you love wearing orange and what kind of orange you tend to wear, and maybe even your color type if you know what it is within your color style. I'm Jen Vax, and thank you so much for watching.